One of the most important questions ever to be asked in popular media, stemming from a long anime tradition, is one which constantly sparks debate in fandom. Who is best boy or girl? This is a question which, every few years, the Tales of team try to answer by hosting the esteemed Tales of Festival popularity poll, in which they pit characters from every Tales of game, except for Yuri and Leon, members of the Hall of Fame who are too powerful to be judged by the common fan, against each other in a battle to see who they need to make more merch for in the coming years. For the past two polls, the burning question has had a clear answer, and so it is to no one's surprise that in 2021, the true Tales of Best Boy was, of course, once again, wait, Mikleo got second place? This is an outrage, a true catastrophe. Who could possibly have dethroned the character who was destined to earn his third consecutive win and a place in the Hall of Fame this year? They must truly be a powerful character, one with the strength to rival even the most popular of characters. It couldn't be a known rival. No, they must be a dark horse, a new threat emerging from the shadows. No, it couldn't be. Impossible! Wait, are you sure this is right? I know Tales of Arise is popular, but this is... well, if you're sure... Hootle is a baby Danon owl, a round ball of cuteness who acts as the mascot character for the Tales of series' newest entry, Tales of Arise. At first glance he may seem unassuming, but his popularity spread far and wide in the run-up to and following the release of the game. Clearly, this popularity held an even greater power than any of us could have imagined, allowing Hootle to take the crown as the most popular character in the Tales of Festival popularity poll in 2021. But just what is it about Hootle that makes him so beloved? Today we gather to answer that question and to find out just what exactly makes Hootle best boy. Since we'll be diving deeply into Hootle's character and story arc in Tales of Arise, this video will naturally contain spoilers for the game. I'd recommend playing the game before watching if you'd like to avoid those. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. In order to understand why Hootle is so popular, we must first examine just who Hootle is. To put it simply, he is the mascot character of Tales of Arise, a non-humanoid character created solely for the purpose of marketing the game to a wider audience. His appearance is certainly indicative of that fact. His round, non-threatening shape and large, wide eyes are the perfect features for a soft plush toy or a subtle keyring. Though Alfred may be the game's protagonist, Hootle is undoubtedly the face of Tales of Arise. Bandai Namco and the Tales team are certainly using his appearance to their advantage, having posted several promotional posts on social media featuring the owl in the lead up to the game's release, and even offering an exclusive collector's edition of the game based entirely on Hootle. Players of the demo were even offered a vacation Hootle attachment in the full game as thanks for playing. Even if you barely know anything about the game, it's highly likely you've seen Hootle in the midst of their marketing. In which case, going off of appearance alone, perhaps it seems simple to see why Hootle is so popular among fans. But it's not just Hootle's appearance which matters to this analysis. Mascot characters have been a staple of video games, and JRPGs especially, since their inception. In earlier years, mascot characters needed only to be memorable and to appeal to children, who were the target demographic for most video games. They didn't need complex character motivations to fulfill their sole purpose of visual entertainment. But as the audience for video games has grown, so too has the desire for compelling narratives and characters who promise some degree of emotional investment which runs deeper than surface level aesthetic appreciation. As such, for Hootle to be a compelling character, his personality and growth also need to be taken into consideration. Much like the rest of the party, from what we know of Hootle's past, he spent most of his earliest days alone. As the party leaves Calaglia, they come across a red owl, which Rinwell confirms to be the first owl Hootle has ever met. Their meeting is a sure sign to him that he is not alone, and that there are many more owls across Dana for them to find. It makes sense, then, that he would be the most attached to Rinwell, his first friend and the companion he has spent the longest with. As such, his personality is largely influenced by her. At first, he is distrustful of those he does not know well, in much the same way as Rinwell is. He even hides from them a few times, either using the Cislodian snow or Rinwell herself as a cover to hide behind. But over the course of the game, at much the same rate that Rinwell warms up to her party members, so too does Hootle. This opening up allows us to see his true personality. Mostly cheerful, somewhat prideful, and very protective of those he cares about. He often picks fights with Law, his greatest rival, and is often rather mischievous towards him. In general, though, one thing is clear: his main goal is seeing those he cares about happy, especially Rinwell. It helps that his personality is so thoroughly shown to us through his appearances in skits and side quests, where he is almost always at Rinwell's side, even if he has no speaking role in the scene at hand. His steadfast presence and light-hearted personality are enough to charm even the thorniest of hearts. It's no surprise that by the time the party are attacked on their way to Mahak Zar, it is not only a shock, but an outrage to see the mysterious swordsman so boldly lash out against Hootle when he bravely tries to protect Rinwell. Even just under halfway into the game, we as the audience have reached a point where seeing Hootle in danger is just as worrying as seeing any of the other party members under attack. Part of what makes us so invested in Hootle is the Owl Forest side quest. Throughout the game, Hootle's main goal is to meet more owls and to tell them about the secret sanctuary that is the Owl Forest. Anytime there may be an owl in sight, Hootle is immediately at the ready, fluttering around and waiting for any sign of a new friend. As such, over the course of the game, he makes over 40 new owl friends, the majority of whom settle in the Owl Forest alongside the Owl King and Queen. It is during this side quest, however, that we see one of the very few occasions that Hootle and Rinwell are not on the same wavelength. Rinwell, misunderstanding Hootle's enthusiasm to meet other owls, believes that Hootle would be much happier settling in the Owl Forest among his own kind. Part of this is because of the danger they have faced and will continue to face in their journey. At least within the forest, Hootle can be safe among friends, which could not be guaranteed if something happened to Rinwell or the others during their journey. In Rinwell's eyes, she is also granting him freedom, allowing him to spread his wings and choose his own future in the same way as they all are. She believes that she is holding him back by having him stay by her side, that he is only staying with her out of obligation. Asking him to stay in the Owl Forest is, in her eyes, a sort of liberation, no matter how much it may hurt for her to do it. But Hootle sees things differently. He has his own wings, and with all the flying practice Rinwell has him do at camp, he has the strength that he could have left of his own accord long ago if he wanted to. He also sees Rinwell as his family, and when faced with the freedom to choose whether to stay in the Owl Forest or to chase after her, it's natural he would choose the latter. He and Rinwell both may have started off alone, but their bond becomes one which is unbreakable, founded not on obligation, but on the freedom to choose to be with one another. Hootle's personal character arc follows the same themes that the main party's arcs tend to follow, starting off alone, living only out of obligation, only to find companionship and liberation over the course of their journey. In addition to this, however, he also carries with him the key ideas upon which Tales of Arise is founded, the themes of inheritance and evolution. His form as an owl is a natural link to these themes. Birds in general often represent freedom, due mostly to their wings, which can carry them anywhere as they like. Owls, however, carry several other symbolic meanings, both within the game and in the real world. Within the game, owls are often representative of ancient Dana, as one of the last remaining non-domesticated native species on the planet after the rest were either turned into Zoogles or wiped out by them or otherwise destroyed by the Great Conquest, as it were. Their endangered status is a mirror to how Dana's historic culture is largely lost due to the last 300 years of war and slavery. And even with the small amount of information remaining about ancient Dana, we hear several pieces of information based upon owls. The original tale of the Darkwings, for example, featured a black owl which acted as a guide for the hero, and the one ancient language word we learn is the colloquial term for owl, Falnites, which literally means one drawn to the skies. The common cultural view of owls as symbolic of wisdom and knowledge also links to how closely related owls are to history within Tales of Arise. Essentially, Danan owls are some of the only inheritors of Dana's history, one of the last remnants of the planet's past. Their links to evolution are just as clear. Where all birds shed their feathers as they grow older, Danan owls in particular have a unique way of doing this, as it is only by shedding their down feathers that they reveal their true colours, which are determined by the astral energy they have been surrounded by in their youth. Most of the owls we come across in the game are one of 5 colours. Red for Calaglian owls, white for Cislodian owls, yellowy-orange for Merensian owls, green for Mahak Zarian owls, and blue for the owls of Ganath Haros. There are a few exceptions, exceptions, most notably the special owls found near the end of the game, as well as the 3 owls seen in the Owl Sanctuary side quest in Niez. Their solid colour appearances are caused by their spending the majority of their lives within a single realm, each of which is particularly rich in one type of astral energy. Hootle, however, is an exception to this rule. Though we never see his adult colours due to his young age, it is made clear through skits that Hootle will one day also shed his down feathers and evolve into a colourful owl, with wings representative of his widespread travels. In this sense, it may be that Hootle is the owl most tied to ancient Dana, as the last time an owl may have travelled as far as him was likely before the Great Conquest 300 years ago, before astral energy was manipulated to be harvested from different realms rather than being spread out the way it originally was. Either way, the changing of their colours is a clear link to the idea of evolution, and Hootle is the first of many owls who may have his wings painted in more than a few colours. Even outside of the themes of inheritance and evolution, however, Hootle's form as an owl is fitting of the narrative of Tales of Arise. Owls have several meanings across different cultures. White owls are said to symbolise wisdom and endurance, and within Celtic mythos they are seen as warriors and guardians of honour, who grant the knowledge of the path to the underworld to those seen as worthy. This links to the game's interpretation of owls as guides, as seen through the original Darkwing's fairy tale. In some cultures, owls also have links to magic, which once again is shown through the effects of astral energy on Danan owls, as well as Hootle's closeness to Rinwell, the only remaining Danan mage. This is also reflected in how owls are an important symbol in Rinwell's mage clan, as can be seen in her DLC ceremonial outfit and weapon, both of which use an owl motif. Though most interpretations of owls are positive, in Native American culture owls are sometimes interpreted as heralds of death, and the hoot of an owl is seen as an ill omen. This could be a parallel to how the party is largely made up of outcasts, with Rinwell in particular having been ostracised for her magic. Within dream symbolism, owls are seen as a warning of deceit or deception, which is fitting considering that Hootle spends his earliest days with Rinwell in the untrusting Cyslodia. But birds in general can also be seen as a sign of letting go of negativity or the past, which could be a possible lampshading of the theme of letting go of hatred, which is once again particularly relevant to Rinwell, though it does also apply to the party as a whole. Even within the game, owls seem to have some sort of romantic symbolism, with owl charms being exchanged between lovers as a proof of their bond, as we learn early on in Messia 224. This could allude to the importance of companionship and love of all kinds within the game, as it is love and compassion which allows the party to triumph over the adversity they face. In general, owls can be seen as guides lighting the path from Dana's past toward a brighter future, and Hootle in particular embodies this idea in his role in the party. After all, Hootle often provides the opportunity for comfort and levity in the midst of the party's darkest moments, acting as a beacon who reminds the party that though they may have started off as slaves to others' whims, freedom is still a possibility that they can soar towards, so long as they trust their wings and fly of their own accord. But what does this mean for our understanding of Hootle? In essence, by examining more closely the links owls have to the themes of the game and then by applying those ideas to Hootle, it becomes clear that Hootle's presence within the party is essential. Not only is he a cute companion who allows for some comedic relief to the largely heavy plot of the game, nor is he just a mascot character created to market the game to a wider audience. Hootle also represents the very essence of Tales of Arise, carrying in his small wings the ideas of freedom and companionship, of inheritance and evolution, and so much more. Though at first glance he might seem like an innocent mascot character, by the end of the game he is as irreplaceable a member of the main party as any of the playable characters. As such, I'm sure the conclusion is clear. Out of all of the characters within the Tales series, a series spanning 25 years and 17 mainline titles, perhaps no character deserves the title of Best Boy more than the esteemed Hootle. What? I was just getting to the good part. What do you mean I was given the wrong results? See, look, it says right here, Hootle got first place. In the mascot poll? So you're telling me the real best boy is Dohalim? I mean, I guess I can see why I have eyes, but come on, couldn't you have told me before I spent 15 minutes going on and on about Hootle? Now I need to write another analysis.